Okay, this is the true story of the boy who cried wolf. Almost everybody has heard the false story of the boy who cried wolf. I'm going to go over it, but I'm here to clear up a horrible mistake that has been made regarding the story. So, as everybody knows, the story goes that there was a boy who, for reasons unexplained, felt a little bit as though he was being ignored. And so he needed more attention. And he was at a party in the park, and it was near the forest. And he went out on his own and imagined what it would be like if a wolf were there, because people said, be careful of wolves. And so he thought, well, he could yell and people would come, I suppose. And he thought, I'm going to test this. And so he cried, wolf! And people came running over, where, boy, where? And they were very excited and everything. And he didn't want to say, well, I was just testing you guys. So he just said, well, it was here somewhere. I saw it. And they said, oh, well, good thing you called, boy. You did the right thing. And they patted him on the back, and that was really great. And so, he really couldn't believe the attention he got and how wonderful that was. And so about a week later, he started feeling a little bit lonely again. So he was in another venue, and he got off by himself away from the crowd and screamed wolf again. And the people came running. Oh, where now, boy? Where's the wolf? And he said, it was here. I'm not sure where it is now, but it. And they this time they kind of looked at him like, okay, well, be very sure that there's a wolf when you cry wolf. And yeah, he could feel the eyeballs on him. And so then everybody went away. And about a month went by, and he just couldn't take it anymore. He missed that being the center of attention like that. So he did it again. It was in one of those places where he could get away with it. And he went and he cried wolf, and everyone came running. And this time they didn't even ask him. They could tell what was happening. And they said to him, you know what, little boy? If you cry wolf again, you may be sorry. Wow. Kind of a stern warning, man. And he didn't know what to think of it. And so he pondered that for quite a while. And then one day, when he was in the forest, there was a wolf. And he cried wolf. And the people heard him. And they said, no, little boy who cries wolf, we shall not come. And he was eaten by the wolf. That's where the story is actually incorrect. That is not what happened. No, what happened was the people didn't come, so what did the little boy do? He climbed a tree, for crying out. He did what any boy would do. He climbed a tree, and he waited for the wolf to go away. And then he went home, and he thought about this, and he said, man, that was a close call. Okay, so the little boy had to think to himself, wow, I can't cry wolf anymore. And he finally came up with the idea. He was in a theater, and he thought, what would happen if I cried fire? Man, it was like a light bulb went off in his head. So he cried fire, and everybody ran out and said, oh, thank you, little boy, you saved us all by crying. And then when they found out there wasn't a fire, they said to the little boy, we hope we never see you again. Wow. So another couple years went by, and this time the memory of that faded, and he was in a park with a river flowing, and I don't know why, but he just decided to yell flood, and he cried flood. And everyone came running. Where? Help! We want to help. What? Thank you for saving us. Until they realized it wasn't. They said, man, we have had it with you and your lying thing. It was a big deal. So he sat down to take some personal inventory here on what was going on. And he realized this must stop. I cannot continue to do that. Anyway, about a year went by, and he was sitting around with his friends. He's only about 7 years old. Sitting around with his friends, and they're bragging about their dads in different ways. And the little boy who cried wolf didn't really have much he could say about his dad, at least that he knew about. So he just, for some reason, he just made up, well, my dad flies jets. And the boys looked at him and said, really? And he said, yeah, really big, huge jets. And the other boys were very impressed. And he went up just a notch in their eyes of coolness. And he knew it, and he thought to himself, now that works okay. The crying wolf thing can get you in trouble. All right, so he was very excited about the result from lying about who he was. He was holding up a mask. I'm a guy who has a dad who flies jets. That's what he was showing the other kids, and it really worked. And so then, later he would make up a story about something else. He once went up in a hot air balloon, and it was really cool. And everybody believed him, and it made him look really cool. And so when he got into school, and he realized on some assignments, he could just, go on the internet and copy and paste stuff, and you didn't really have to learn as long as you presented something that looked right. It was like a key that would get you in. This is what he was starting to learn, is that you create these masks and hold them up, and it's like face recognition, and you get into certain things by creating a certain look. And so that was the approach he kind of took to his education. He cheated his way through, but he did it cleanly and logically, and it worked a lot better than studying, in his opinion. And, he graduated with honors, and he got into college and did the same. And then he went to medical school and did the same. And he practiced medicine for 20 years. And suddenly it dawned on him that he didn't like practicing medicine. And he wondered, how did I get here? How did I get halfway through my life and I'm doing something I don't even enjoy doing? So he got a divorce and got a sports car and kept trying to find answers to the meaning in life, when what you keep holding up that people like doesn't help you feel liked. Because what happens when you take down the mask and ask people what they think of that? Now you're vulnerable. But if you're always holding up a mask, they didn't like that one, get this one, here we go. And it's always some other thing that you're projecting. And so that's why you don't cry wolf. Know thyself. That's what Socrates says was the hardest thing to do. Know thyself. I think to myself, well, I don't know much about a lot of stuff. I don't know much about history and so forth. But one thing I do know about, and it's me. Okay, I've been living with me all my life, and at least I know about me. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's hard to know yourself. For one thing, we are always in a state of flux. We're growing and hopefully you are. When you stop growing and evolving, you're probably dead. See, because life means ongoing change, evolution, and movement, forward movement. So we certainly complicate matters by constantly juggling these images that we project as opposed to just being our honest selves. And I know that I'm not very good at it. To be quite honest with you, believe me, I'm lying. But seriously, I'm no different than anybody else. I'm constantly juggling masks too. But, at some point you want to stop and be as clear and vulnerable with somebody as you can. If you really want to feel honestly accepted, if you want to feel like they're actually accepting you, then it's up to ourselves how honestly we are willing to project.